How you guys doing? Whew, dropping stuff already. Guys, it might look a little low here today. We got a lot of people out of town, which is actually a really good thing because we are planting a church today in Toronto. Guys, isn't that awesome? Guys, we sent our leaders up there to make sure that thing's awesome. And guys, we have contributed to the kingdom forcefully advancing and planting a church in Canada. Eh? Pretty awesome right there. Guys, we are very encouraged. Jay sends his love. And so, today, I got a lesson for us today. And I really believe that it's an important lesson. I think it's something we can take with us, and it's very practical. Do you guys like practical stuff? Okay, cool. And it's really, the lesson is entitled, The Daily Battle. The Daily Battle. And I chose that theme because, I feel like it's an important topic to talk about. It's easy, it's really easy to be fired up when you're here at church, right? When you have Joe coming up to sing, and man, it just sets the tone, this morning we had Kids Kingdom class, and Joe sang the first song, and Marshawn was like, whoa! His eyes just popped up, and he was fired up, and then I look over, and Kofi's like, yeah, and it's just something about it fires you up, right? And it's always good to hear a lesson and to get in the Word and have someone, prepare a lesson and spend time to think about what you need. And wouldn't that be awesome if every day you woke up and Joe woke you up? Denise gets this all the time. Joe wake you up, and Joe's like, wake up. It's time to sing a song. And he starts singing a song and just fires you up, and then you get ready, and Jay sits down at the breakfast table with you. He goes, you know what? I prepared a lesson for your quiet time. Let's sit down. Let me talk to you. You know what? And how would your day start out there? He'd be fired up. You're like, okay, this is good. Life is good. But the challenge is not today. It's tomorrow.
Come on, bro.
Monday, especially Monday. Monday's always like oh man. And then Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday. It's the daily battle. And we just celebrated our independence, right? 4th of July. That was awesome. We went down to Lions, and they had a fireworks show there. And we literally just, I gotta tell you, we got really lucky. We were running late, and we got the last parking spot. And the guy's like, and it was all full. And he goes, you know what? Just come on in. And you always feel special when you get the last parking spot, because the last will be first too. You're the first guy to pull out, And so we were fired up, and we get to sit down and watch the fireworks, and it was like the best fireworks show I'd ever seen. It's cool being downtown, and you're like, oh, do you see those fireworks? Like, no. You see them clear over there in the water somewhere over there? Like, okay, I think so. But being in the suburbs, I have to say, is pretty cool. The fireworks are literally they're exploding above your head. I mean, it was so cool. But it's the battle. And freedom isn't free, right? That's the thing. Freedom is not free. Guys, I believe this is one of the reasons most people fall away. Is they lose the daily battle. They lose that daily fight. And guys, we got to have that. We got to engage the daily battle to win. Let's go to Matthew 6:33. Who knows that one by heart? Got it. Wow, okay. That's just verse 33. Okay. We got people who know it here. All right, that's good. Let's read it. Let's make sure they're right. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Guys, we have to seek first his kingdom and his righteousness. And I really believe Jesus breaks down the battle into two areas. Kingdom and righteousness. And it's a daily battle. You wake up in the morning, how many things are going off in your head? You're thinking about 8 million things, and you feel like you got about 10 million on your plates. And it's tough to choose what's right. For me, it's like, oh, the car needs to be fixed. I need to do this, my kids, this, that, this, and the other. But I have to wake up and go, I got to seek first God's kingdom and his righteousness. The key is that we have to seek both of those things. The kingdom, we know, as the church, you guys seen it right here. It's going after winning souls, keeping people faithful, coming to church, being part of the body, the means of the body. And then you got the righteousness aspect, which in my opinion is a little bit harder. And that's being righteous, having a pure heart, not being in sin, not being lazy, not being prideful, not having lust in your heart. That's the daily battle. And we can break it down into two areas. And now the question I have for you this morning is, what's the hardest one for you? What's harder for you? Is it harder for you to be righteous? It's easy to come to church, easy to share your faith. Is it harder for you to be righteous? Or is it harder for you to seek first God's kingdom? I'm being righteous today. You're focused on righteousness. You go, I don't really want to share my faith with that person. I'm too focused on being righteous. I have my quiet time. Stay away from me. I'm focusing on righteousness here. And we can lose the heart of both of those areas there. The key is to be surrendered all the time. And the battle is about being faithful and ready for service. Guys, let's go to Luke 17. We're going to look at our theme scripture here. And the theme scripture here is, as you probably know it, is sin, faith, and duty. And actually, I'm going to add a little bit to it here. I think they kind of forgot here. It's sin, forgiveness, faith, and duty. I really believe Jesus hits four main topics of the daily battle here. Let's go to Luke 17, verse 1.
Come on, bro.
It says, Jesus said to his disciples, things that cause people to sin are bound to come. But woe to that person through whom they come. It would be better for him to be thrown into the sea with a millstone tied around his neck than for him to cause one of these little ones to sin. So watch yourselves. If your brother sins, rebuke him. If he repents, forgive him. If he sins against you 7 times in a day, and 7 times comes back and says, I repent, forgive him.
Amen.
The apostles said to the Lord, increase our faith.
Preach.
He replied, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say this mulberry tree, be uprooted and planted in the sea, and it will obey you. Suppose one of you had a servant plowing or looking after the sheep. Would he say to the servant when he comes in from the field, come along now, sit down and eat? Would he not rather say, prepare my supper, get yourself ready, wait on me while I eat and drink. After that, you may eat and drink. Would he thank the servant because he did what he was told to do? So you also, when you have done everything you were told to do, should say, we are only unworthy servants. We have only done our duty. Whew, that's convicting right there, right? And there's 4 areas that I believe Jesus breaks it down right here, okay? The first battle is the battle of sin. Jesus says, watch yourself. My first point is battle of sin. Okay, just right, just in case you didn't catch that one. Let's go to Genesis 4. Let's look at one of the first battles of sin here.
Come on, bud.
You guys with me here? Guys, and I believe we need to hear this right now. I believe this is an important lesson for us to hear that's going to take us to the next level, and it's going to help us kind of understand what's going on. And God's been doing a lot in the church, and man, I tell you what, God's been doing some incredible things in the West. We've gone out there, we've been at Triton College, and we've been hopping about here and there, and people have been coming out of the woodwork saying they want to study the Bible. And one guy in particular is Amon back here, and he's ducking down right there. But he's studying the Bible. He's been around for a long time, and he called Jay. Said, "Dude, I need to get together. Let's study the Bible." And it was cool. And another instance here is this guy Oscar right here in the front. I'm picking on some people here this morning. And it was cool. We were doing a Bible study, and Oscar goes, "Are you guys doing a Bible study?" I said, "Yes, we are." He goes, "Good, I want to join." And he just, jumps right in the study. I was like, "That's awesome. What a heart, And then we were doing another Bible study this week. And this guy, we're sitting down studying with this guy named Isaiah, and another guy comes up and goes, "Are you guys doing a Bible study?" I said, "This is awesome." "Yes, we are. You want to come sit down?" "Yeah, actually I wanted to." He's like, "Okay, come on, sit down." It's so cool. God's just bringing people in that want to hear about him and learn about him. But also, the church has gone through some pruning too. We've had some people fall away. And the reason people fall away, and I believe this, is they give up the daily battle. It's the daily battle. Like I said, it's easy to be faithful at church. As soon as you walk out that door, bullseye, bang, fight with your wife. A little lust, a little temptation, greed, whatever it is. I think of the movie Braveheart. And it's just, guys are fired up. Rah, and it's easy to be fired up in the group. But imagine if you're fighting that battle alone. Wow. Duh. Duh, that's how we feel. But let's look at somebody here, and we're going to kind of glean some stuff from the scriptures. Let's go to Genesis 4, verse 1. Adam lay with his wife Eve, and she became pregnant. All right, that's what happens when that happens, all right? Just so you guys know. Bible talks about everything, all right? She gave birth to Cain. She said, "With the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man." As I have to share, I'm really fired up. Amanda is pregnant, in case you guys didn't know. And we just found out we're having a boy. So, very fired up. Okay, we'll keep going, sorry. Later, she gave birth to his brother Abel. Now Abel kept flocks, and Cain worked the soil. In the course of time, Cain brought some of the fruits of the soils and offered to the Lord. But Abel brought fat portions to the Lord from some of the firstborn of his flock. The Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but on Cain and his offering he did not look with favor. So Cain was very angry, and his face was downcast. The Lord said to Cain, "Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must master it." And then, you guys know what happens, right? I don't want to spoil this for anybody. But Cain kills his brother. But we see here, sin desires to have us. Sin wants you. It wants you. No, actually the same word in the Hebrew is used in chapter 3, verse 16, where Eve's desire will be for her husband. That word desire, the word for sin, desires to have you. Same word. So I'm going to ask you, sisters, have you ever desired to be married? What's that desire like? Is it strong?
Yes.
Okay, very strong, right? Sisters can kind of get a little, I want to get married. A little bit. And guys are like that in a little bit of a different way. We won't talk about them this morning. That's a whole nother sermon. But think about that here. Sisters, you ever felt that desire to be married? How intense. And I think sometimes it's kind of a super intense desire that it kind of clouds your judgment. And you start liking brothers that you're like, wow, she likes him? Like, whoa. That desire must be strong. She really wants to get married. But guys, I'm here to tell you, sin has the same desire for you. It's the same kind of desire. As strong as a sister wants to get married, that's the kind of desire sin has to take you out. And that's what sin's like. It kind of clouds our judgment a little bit. But guys, the issue is that Cain had lost hope. He had put his hope in something else. His hope was in blessings from God. He saw his brother and goes, dude, that's not fair. And he wanted to kill his brother because of it. Wow. So guys, the question is, what is our hope placed in this morning? Is it leadership? Are you watching other people raise up around you? It makes you struggle. Oh man, that brother, that sister, they don't deserve that. I deserve that. That's the seeds of envy that will cause you to do the most wicked of sins. It will take you out. Dating, relationships. Is your hope in that, or is it in God? Some people they come in the kingdom, they crucify that, and then it comes back up, and all of a sudden they're on the prowl looking for the next one, or the one, not the next one, hopefully not, the one and only. Job can be a big one too. How you look at your job, how much money you make, material possessions, what you have, what you own. Are you financially secure? And that can be our hope. Our hope is financial security instead of a good relationship with God. What if you told your wife that? I want financial security over our relationship. That's most important to me. How about you? She'd go, excuse me? You said what? Baptisms. Sometimes we bring someone out to church, you feel so fired up. Oh man, this is my visitor, guys. Guys, say, this is, and then they stop coming. Right. And you go, oh man. And then you just like, oh. You ever feel that way? Or you make a disciple, you teach someone, they study the Bible, they become a disciple, and they start struggling. And you're like, ah. Come on, just be spiritual, And then we start to lose our hope, because our hope wasn't in God, it's in how this one person's doing. And it can't be in people. And this is the awesome thing about this church here. We send out the Franklins, they're gone. We're just temporarily, they're coming back. The Woodens, McMurrays, and the Shelbrecks are all gone. And Casey and a bunch of teens. And look at church service here today. What does this show about the church? People here have their hope in God. That shows a healthy church. That shows you guys are fired up. The singing was phenomenal this morning. What does that show? You guys have your hope set in God. But I want to help us to understand, why do people fall away? Why have people fallen away? It's because they didn't have their hope in God. And that is the reason people fall away. This is the daily battle. This isn't a Sunday battle. This is your daily battle. Guys, some great examples in the church, I'd have to say, is Bob Sperling. Umberto prayed for Tom. Tom's not in the hospital. He's right back there. He's fine. Right? But it's Bob. And he's in the hospital, but guys, his hope is in God. If someone's hope's in God, it is Bob. And it's funny how the older you get, though, the more you realize your hope just needs to be in God.
Yeah, that's right.
If we could just understand, if we could all understand that today, if we could learn a lesson today from our brother, and if it was one thing he'd probably want to teach us, he'd come up here and preach, and that's what he would say. You got to put your hope in God. It's the only thing that lasts. Another guy I want to lift up is Darnell. And I love this guy. This guy is an amazing brother. But he's been around. He said, I asked him this morning, we were doing pre-service, and I said, I think, how old are you, a year and a half? A year and 7 months spiritually. I was like, okay, well, sorry, bro. And he's been a disciple for about a year and 7 months, and I know this guy's hope's in God because he serves, he gives, he's bringing his father out to church, and he's just a constant servant. He's not looking for any reward. That's awesome. That's someone to go, wow, their hope is in God. It's not in leadership titles or how they look in front of people or what they did in front. It's totally set in God. Guys, what was the problem with Cain? He put his hope in something else and gave in to envy. And guys, what's envy? Wanting what others have. Guys, we know that from the sin study, right? But where is your hope at this morning? Second battle is for forgiveness. And one thing I read this week that really helped me out was Kip's article on a sin called acedia. And it's kind of a combination of sins. And it's kind of a progression of sin. And I quote him, he says, so what is the cause of the forgotten sin of acedia, spiritual sickness? I believe it's bitterness of one's soul. And guys, if you haven't read the article, I challenge you to get on the website, caicc.net, and read the article. It's amazing. He shares about his own sin, the sin that took him out. And he shares about, it's very practical on what to do to overcome it. And guys, let's go to Luke 17. Go back to Luke 17 here, our theme scripture.
Come on, Dustin, good stuff.
The daily battle. The daily battle for forgiveness. And it's interesting. If you look in your title here in Luke 17, It says sin, faith, and duty. Now they forgot something here. They forgot forgiveness. Actually, some Bibles have that in there. But even in the title, people forget. They forget the daily battle is forgiveness. And I really think this whole thing is kind of centered around forgiveness here. And it's not even mentioned in the title. I'm glad we don't just read titles, but we're reading the Bible. Amen. But he says in verse 3, so watch yourselves. If your brother sins, does your brother sin? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Rebuke him. Oh, that's awesome. It says that right there. So, amen. But be in love, all right? Amen. If he repents, forgive him. Gotta forgive him. If he sins against you 7 times in a day, and 7 times comes back and says, I repent, forgive him. Has anybody sinned against you like majorly 7 times in a day? And I don't know about that. Sometimes I'm like, wow, imagine someone going 7 times, totally sinning against you. Struggle. But it says to you, and says, I repent. It doesn't say, it just says, if they say, I repent, it says, forgive them. And then the apostles say, increase our faith. This is the challenge, guys. And I really believe this is one of the biggest challenges as a disciple, is forgiveness. And it's probably one of the biggest things we come into our Bible studies, and we're called to be a disciple, we're called to give up everything and give up our sin. And one of the biggest sins we can hold on to is unforgiveness. And when we study the Bible with someone, to become a true disciple, they got to forgive everyone. They can't hold on to anything. But sometimes what happens is you forgive everyone, you're good, and you get baptized, you go, I don't have to deal with that unforgiveness stuff anymore. Then somebody comes into the kingdom, and they sin against you that same way you've been sinned against before, and you go, oh, man. And then all of a sudden you're having a hard time forgiving again. Ah. And honestly, I believe this is one of the things that takes people out. It's that unforgiveness. They're not willing to forgive on the daily. It's a daily thing. And let me tell you something. If you're prone to bitterness, you're prone to bitterness. Do you guys get that one there? If you've ever had bitterness in your heart, it will come back. Guys, I live in the suburbs, so I have a yard now. And I'm noticing weeds, all right? These things grow out of everything. I mean, there's literally this concrete slab in the back. And there's these weeds that have found their way through the concrete slab. I'm like, how's that even possible? But that's sin. Yeah. Sin, bitterness, it'll find its way into our heart and cause us to drift from God. Let's go to Hebrews 12.
Come on, Dustin.
Forgiveness is a daily battle.
Come on, bro.
Because I guarantee I might say something today in the lesson, you're going to go, man, that guy, And you're going to have to forgive me after the lesson. You know, and someone might say something, it might hurt half the people in here. Someone might say something else, hurt the other half of the people. We're all affected differently by each other. Yeah. This is the battle, guys. Yeah. Hebrews 12. Verse 14. Now check this out, guys. Make some effort to live did I read that wrong? Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. That was the New Lukewarm Translation. All right, sorry. Make every effort to live in peace with some men. Oh, okay, sorry. All men. And to be holy. Without holiness, no one will see the Lord. Question, are you being fruitful? Are you seeing fruit in your life? Are people becoming disciples around you? Then my question is, are you holy? Wow. Is there unforgiveness you're holding on to in your heart? Is there some bitterness that's crept in your heart? Verse 15, see to it that no one misses the grace of God, and that no bitter root grows up to cause trouble and defile many. See that no one is sexually immoral or godless like Esau, who for a single meal sold his inheritance rights as the oldest son. Afterward, as you know, when he wanted to inherit the blessing, he was rejected. He could bring about no change of mind, though he sought the blessing with tears. Guys, this is the first thing to go. when we miss the grace of God. And it's all about us connecting with the cross and understanding what God has done for us. And sometimes it's so easy. It's easy at church, it's easy at communion, and it's hard on Monday. It's harder on Tuesday. And it's hard to forgive that person, and you're like, I can't believe you said that to me, roommate.
Come on. Come on.
You didn't do the dishes again.
Right now.
You left your towel on the door. And all of a sudden we are the most unforgiving person. And guys, it can't be like that. But you know what's funny is it's so easy to be broken right after we sin. You know what I'm saying here? Sometimes you feel the most spiritual after you've just totally blown it and asked God for forgiveness. Now you're like, man, do you ever feel that way? Is that just me? Like, I've totally blown it. God, I'm so sorry. And you're like broken before God. And you're like, man, I feel awesome now. I feel like more spiritual. Why is that? It's because your heart's where it needs to be.
Yeah, that's right.
And if we could just keep our heart there all the time, how would you feel? You'd be fired up all the time.
That's right.
Esau forgot what God had done for him. The key is to remain. And it takes the mental discipline. It takes that daily battle, the daily fight. And I trust me, you're not going to feel like it. You're not going to feel like it. Guys, we give into bitterness when we've forgotten how sinful you really are. And some people, they'll see a situation or a person, it'll just remind them of how bitter they used to be, and they forgave that person. You forgive somebody, and then something will happen. Like the exact same situation, just with different people. You're like, how is that even possible? Why would you do that, God? And all of these feelings come back. You're like, oh, all those feelings. You remember those feelings, right? Yeah. And then what happens? We start to spiral spiritually. And you go, oh my gosh, start doubting everything. You doubting God, you doubt your baptism, you doubt the church, you doubt your leader, you doubt everybody, everything, because you're given back into those sins. But just because that stuff you're prone to it, doesn't mean you didn't crucify it. It could be. But if you're prone to a certain sin, if you've let a certain sin in your heart for years, trust me, those weeds don't go away easily. Okay, you got to uproot those things. They'll find their way back, and we have to continue. It's the daily battle to continue to fight the same sins over and over again. The key is that we get good at it. All right. Amen. For me, this was the biggest thing for me, okay? I tell you, when I became a disciple I was on cloud 9. Quiet times were awesome, man. It was phenomenal. And then they're like, do you want to go on a mission team? I said, yeah, let's go on a mission team. We just got married. We have been married for 3 months. And little do you know anything about a mission team. You're just a young disciple, yeah, I'm fired up. I'll do anything. Mission teams are the hardest thing you could do. And we go out there, and half the mission team decided they weren't going to go, and so it was 5 of us in this little town called Corvallis, Oregon. You guys know where Corvallis, Oregon? Who knows where Corvallis, Oregon is? None of you. That's awesome. Exactly. So we went to Corvallis, Oregon, and it was tough. And for a long time, and the guy was leading the church for a while. He started to do bad, and we all started to do kind of bad. It was a small group, and we were all young. And I blamed all this stuff on him. And it took me a while, and I had to forgive the situation. But then I was holding on to something. And the realization was that I was still blaming him for how I did spiritually. Wow. I said, okay, I forgive you, but I was still blaming him for how I did spiritually and how it affected me later. And I was holding on to something there. And I realized, man, I got to let this thing go. Like Frozen. Let it go. Let me sing it. And it caused me to get in all kinds of sin. Impurity. I was holding on to this bitterness. Unforgiveness. I mean, greed, selfishness. The root was just this, I wasn't willing to see my sin in the situation. And that's a lot of times if someone sins against us, I can't believe you did that. I forgive you. And then like, what about your sin? You were just totally sinful right there. We have to see our sin in the situation to be able to move on past these things. Acedia, and what Kip talks about, is that sin where you're giving into bitterness and it just drains you of your energy. You ever felt that way? And you don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to do anything. You want that song to come on the radio. That I don't want to do anything. What's that song? That's probably a sinful song. Don't think of that. And it just takes our energy, and that's the acedia. That's the deadly sin, is when you start to lose that energy. Wow. Amen. Third battle is for faith. Go back to Luke 17, verse 6. You guys with me here? Yeah. Amen. Luke 17, verse 6. Well, actually, we'll go to verse 5. Love it. The apostle said to the Lord, increase our faith. He replied, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and planted in the sea, and it will obey you. What was Jesus saying about their faith right there? He said, if you had this much faith, you could take this tree and plant it in the sea. What was that saying about their faith? There was like, either it was smaller than a little mustard seed. Have you guys ever seen a mustard seed before? Or there was no faith at all. And the battle is for our faith daily. Again, it's easy to be faithful and fired up around people. It's harder to be faithful when you're by yourself. But Jesus reminds us that our faith can do the impossible. Our faith is what changes things. And for me, it's been, I really believe God is bringing in people into the West, not because of anything that I'm doing different, but because of my faith. And because of and it really comes down to my prayers. It comes down to my relationship with God. If you're not having quiet times, you're not going to have any faith. And then everything you do seems to be falling short. I talked to a brother this week, and he goes, hey, dude, I was like, how you doing? Struggling. I said, okay, well, what's going on? He's like, I feel like everything's going wrong. You ever felt like that? Yeah. He's like, I feel like it's that movie Falling Down. You guys ever seen that? I've never seen it, so I'm hoping you guys had seen it. But I guess in this movie, everything goes wrong for this guy. And I said, okay, well, how's your quiet times? I haven't had them for weeks. I go, okay. That's the issue.
Yeah, there it is.
No quiet times, no faith, and then everything goes wrong. That's the issue. And guys, our quiet times have to be phenomenal. It's our relationship with God. If you're fired up today, it's not because of any of this stuff or me or anybody else. And singing, Joe singing is awesome, but it's really because of our relationship with God. Let's go to Matthew 8. Let's look at a guy with great faith.
Come on.
Let's glean some stuff from the scriptures here. You guys with me?
Yes.
Come on. Matthew 8, verse 5. Again, this whole soldier theme, I was really fired up. Guys, we went to this place called Cantini.
Yeah.
I was calling it Cantigny for a little bit, and I got corrected really quickly. But it's Cantini, and it's this place over by the Economos. And it is like the coolest place. We went for 4th of July, and we brought the girls, and they had like this war reenactment, and they shot a cannon. That like really fired me up, It was like a real live cannon. And they put half a pound of gunpowder, which they usually put like a whole pound. Obviously, they didn't put a cannonball in there, thank God. They were shooting it right at the cars. I was like, oh, Lord, no, it's going to be bad. And they had all these guys dressed in like war outfits from the past, and like they had this, it was super cool. We got dog tags made with the girls' names on it and stuff. It was super awesome. They just reminded me, we got to sit on these tanks and just reminded me of the battle. And it was pretty crazy. They had these young guys in a soldier's uniform. I was like, gosh, these guys look super young. And then I thought about it, and I was like, wow, when these guys went to battle, they were like 18. Young guys. And it's crazy. God puts us in the battle when we're young. I think about these teens. Who do you think? Who thinks as a teenager they could be a faithful disciple?
Come on.
Guys, we got to give props to these teens. Some of you guys as campus students, Some of you guys have told me your campus stories. How sinful we got during campus times. It's hard to be a faithful disciple.
Yeah.
Every area of life is a different challenge, but it's hard. But let's look at a guy of faith. I want to inspire you guys here. Matthew 8, verse 5. When Jesus had entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him, asking for help. Lord, he said, my servant lies at home, paralyzed and from terrible suffering. Jesus said to him, I will go and heal him. The centurion replied, Lord, I do not deserve to have you come under my roof. But just say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. I tell this one, go, and he goes. And I tell that one, come, and he comes. I say to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard this, he was astonished and said to those following him, I tell you the truth, I have not found anyone in Israel with such great faith. A guy with amazing faith. A soldier. A centurion soldier. He led 100 guys, and he understood the concept here. He understood that Jesus was Lord. And Jesus could just say, angel, go and heal that person, and that person would be healed. He understood the authority of God. But what did it take to understand that kind of authority? Is it written in the scriptures anywhere just like that? Not necessarily. It took his faith, and he reasoned that that's how God was. And this is who God was. And it's our faith that helps us understand who God is. Guys, it's our faith that will help us to accomplish the impossible. Guys, what God has called us to do is impossible. And it's pretty amazing. My wife said it best. She goes, it's amazing what God entrusts us with. Someone else's salvation.
Yeah.
And we're like, here's someone's salvation, Here you go, Wow. That God would use a man to help us to have salvation. Or a woman. But guys, it's all about faith. One person I think of that has incredible faith is Amber. Amber Morris. And she is a hard worker. But one way I realize she has incredible faith is just she worked all last night. She worked an overnight shift last night. She's here serving today. And then she's going to go back to work today and work all night again. And then Monday, you think she'd probably sleep, right? No. She doesn't sleep on Monday. She serves the teens. What does that show? Did someone tell her to do that?
No, I told her to sleep.
Amanda told her to sleep. We're all telling her to sleep. She's like, no, I'm going to work. What does that show? That shows faith.
Yeah.
And when you have faith, you have deeds. And your deeds, you're getting to work and you're engaging in the battle. And it's awesome to see people here engaging the battle. The hard-working ones are among us. Those are the ones with faith. Doing great things. Guys, the equation is no quiet time, no faith. And nothing works. You'd be working your little tail off and nothing comes to fruition. You ever felt like that? They say they have the Midas touch. You ever heard the Midas touch? Everything turns to gold. You ever had the opposite of that? I don't know what you call that one. I've had that one. Everything you touch is just sets itself on fire. You're like, I don't want to touch anything. Another group I'm really fired up about is just the downtown women. I think the downtown women have done a phenomenal job. Seriously. They have produced some awesome sisters coming out, just the woodwork, cranking them out. And it's awesome to see the additions consistently. And I really believe it's just faith. It's been amazing to see. And I'm fired about the North, too. There's a fever in the North. I don't know what they're eating up there. Must be that health food or something. But it's awesome. But it's contagious, too. When you're around someone with faith, you're like, oh, man, I'm fired up. Guys, we got to have faith. The battle is our faith on a daily. Fourth point, last point, is battle to do our duty. Let's go to Luke 17. We're going to close out here. It's to do our duty, and I think this might be one of the most challenging passages in the Bible. In verse 7, we'll read this again. Jesus says, suppose one of you had a servant plowing or looking after the sheep. What did he say to the servant when he comes in from the field? Come along now, sit down and eat. What do you not rather say? Prepare my supper. Get yourself ready. Wait on me while I eat and drink, and after that you may eat and drink. Would he thank the servant because he did what he was told to do? So you also, when you have done everything you were told to do, should say, we are unworthy servants. We have only done our duty. Ouch. You ever felt that way? God, I shared my faith this week. God, where are those promises? I'm waiting. I shared my faith. You see that guy? I just shared my faith to that person. Share my faith over here. I had my quiet time today, God. Why aren't you blessing me? I've been a disciple for 5 years. Where's my husband? Where's my wife? And we can get these attitudes towards God. And God says, did you forget who you were? Did you forget? You came to me with all this sin. And you deserve to go to hell. Did you forget that study?
Yeah.
That one where you deserve to go to hell? Yeah. Oh, you forgot that one? Okay, let me remind you. And anything you get is just a blessing.
Yeah.
Guys, this is the hardest lesson right here. But you know what is awesome? Is being surrendered to that.
Yeah.
And for me, I'd start to become lukewarm in a lot of ways. And one way is I can when I start doing bad, I start accumulating stuff. That's how my mind works. I'm just like, I just want to accumulate stuff. I always had nice stuff. And I knew my heart started to get a little bit better. We had a garage sale yesterday. And I was like, you know what? Let's just sell everything. I don't know. We don't care. What is that? Let's sell it. You want that? And I was like, and I just got a receiver for my birthday. A really good deal. It was pretty amazing. And I was like, we could just sell this. My wife's like, no. I was like, whatever. Let's just sell. It's just like, and it feels so good to be surrendered at that point. You know what I'm saying? We're like, I'll just give it up again. You want, TV. And I was like, we can sell our TV. My wife was like, no. It kind of helps with the kids sometimes. A little bit. But did you forget who you were? Who you are? Just because God transformed your life and you're like, I'm so awesome. Look how sinless I am. I'm so awesome. Like the best disciple ever. And you're struggling? Man. And we get this attitude. God says, don't forget.
Yeah.
The example is, I have to say, it's my daughter. Kind of in a bad way. She started bossing me around. Kaya starts getting that attitude. Do this, Dad. Do it now. Yo, whoa. Excuse me? Did you forget who you were? But you can't laugh because you've all done it too. You ever misjudged authority before? You tell someone, go do this. Oh wait, you're the CEO? Ooh, yeah. You ever done one of those? Misjudge a situation? Tell your parents what to do? I did that one time. That one stopped real quick. My dad was like, excuse me, what did you just say to your mom? And that feeling that your heart sinks, like. But we do that to Jesus. Give me that, Jesus. Excuse me? You're just doing your job.
Come on.
And you gotta have a good attitude about it too.
Yeah.
We're farmers, right? Paul says we're farmers. Farmers usually aren't very smart. Sorry to say. Typically, some farmers are actually really smart. But you don't think of them as the highly intellectual, right? So we're called farmers. They're just planting seeds. There you go. It doesn't take much. Doesn't take a lot there to plant some seeds. And then Jesus says we're sheep. You ever seen a sheep before? Pretty dumb, right? We could be like that too. It doesn't take a lot to serve God. It doesn't take a lot of knowledge. But guys, this is our battle. This is a daily battle. It's to remain in the place God wants us to be. To be humble, to be grateful for everything we have. To be thankful at the cross today. I challenge you guys to remember your sins. Not just the sins of the past, the sins this week. And think about every little bad attitude or lustful thought or anything that crossed your heart or mind. Or maybe all those sins that you just don't want to think about. Those are the ones. Those are the ones. And we think about relationships and how we're all sensitive to different people. Some person can say something, hurt your feelings. We all, you guys know what I'm saying? You know what that helped me understand? If God has all of our characteristics in a way, the good ones, he's probably hurt so much by us. If you feel this way when someone hurts you, I'm sure God feels that way too. And if that person feels hurt by that person in that situation, then God feels that hurt too. How much does God feel our pain?
Yep.
But guys, we should be grateful and realize the cross. Guys, we have an incredible opportunity here. The opportunity, guys, that God has done a lot of pruning. And God is bringing in people. It's time to be fruitful. It's time for us to clear out the baggage. Clear out that stuff in our heart. Get rid of the junk that you've been holding on to, that unforgiveness, the greed, the selfishness, and let God use you. And let God use your soul to do something incredible. It is time. It's time for that to happen. Guys, incredible things are happening. Guys, we are planting churches. We're sending out missionaries. This church has done incredible things. But guys, we got a whole city to win. And we got the surrounding areas. We got the north side. We got the west. The west just keeps on going, as I realized after driving to Nick's house. I was like, it never ends out here. How far can I go? It just keeps going. And then we got south. The south side. And then we got, Detroit. We got St. Louis. Milwaukee. Charlotte. We got all these places that we need to plant. Charlotte's kind of far away. But we need to plant all these places. Where is your family? Where are people you know that you love? It requires us to give our hearts. God wants your whole heart. Guys, it's all about just giving everything you have. You got to ante up to God. Everything you got. Everybody's all in. And when you're all in, it's that feeling that fires you up.
That's right.
Because God put all of his in, and his all in was a lot better than all your all in. You know what I'm saying? And so, guys, the challenge for us is the daily battle. Why do people fall away? It's because they forget to fight on the daily. The daily battle is the battle of sin. Are you crucifying the sin in your life? Are you watching yourself? Have you become envious? Or are you grateful for what God is doing? The next battle is the battle of forgiveness. It's forgiving the people that have hurt you. Even now, even today. Today, someone will hurt your feelings, and you got to forgive them. Because did you forget what you were forgiven of? The battle for faith. As you walk into a situation, being faithful. Because that's what God uses. And lastly, is the battle to do our duty. At the end of the day, what we do today, what we do tomorrow, what we do every day, is just our duty. We should be thanking God. Amen, guys. Thank you, guys. And to God be the glory.